This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 219, Frugal versus Cheap, part 1, by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. And I am your host and narrator, Dan. I'm here each weekday delivering you in podcast form some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet. And we're closing out the week, and I guess the year, really, with a sort of beginner introductory post from Mr. Money Mustache. It goes over that line that we wonder about, being frugal versus being cheap. And it's a bit on the longer side, so I'm going to break this up into 2 episodes and wrap it up for you tomorrow. So with that, let's hear part 1 of this post and start optimizing your life. Frugal versus Cheap, Part 1, by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. In the great transition from clueless consumer to mustachian, a person must first overcome a significant obstacle. The perception that frugal, cheap, tightwad, and various other concepts mean the same thing, and that they are all nasty conditions that we should try to avoid. So I've been meaning to lay down the law on this issue for some time. If you've read Frugality is the New Fanciness, you know that being frugal just means displaying some skill and good judgment in the way you spend your money, and thus it is a mark of status far greater than conspicuous consumption. Only about 1/20,000th of the U.S. population has read that particular article so far, but once they do, our country's desire to show off by making unnecessary purchases will be cured. No problem. But that still leaves the issue of cheapness to be dealt with. What about Ebenezer Scrooge? What about the new reality TV series that a reader forwarded to me called Extreme Cheapskates? Since you're probably too busy to watch the actual video, I'll give you the executive summary. In the linked episode, an unfortunate-looking man with really bad hair is profiled in his various money-saving adventures around town, scraping food off of the plates of other restaurant diners, asking for extra ketchup packets so he can refill his ketchup containers at home, and washing and reusing paper napkins, which he leaves hanging all over his kitchen. Peppered throughout the show are voiceovers like, Roy estimates that over the last 10 years he has saved nearly $2,000 by reusing paper towels. Now, I'm not one of the standard bag consumers who derides any attempt to save money as pathetic. I've read plenty of misguided shit that internet commenters have made about my own lifestyle, and it's clear that the complainers do not get it. So I suspect that Roy is actually having a pretty good time with his little tricks. Whether his math is right or not, he's doing pretty well overall. But I would guess that anyone who follows his lead might suffer severe social stigma for being cheap, and for many of us, that is not an acceptable outcome. Being cheap works perfectly well for many people. If you're older, safely protected from the dating world from within the confines of a long-term relationship, and employed in a field where the cheapness doesn't hold you back, you're set. As your age and status grows, you naturally give less of a shit about any irrational preferences of younger society. But I've made the entire journey from teenager to graybeard with a strong appreciation for the value of money, but an even stronger desire to be part of society, to have friends, girlfriends, fancy jobs, and some social status. For better or for worse, I like being part of a social scene, and while I have no problem with being unusual, I try not to let the unusualness get in the way of the lifestyle goals. Imagine a high school or university student who is in a rich city and looking for love. In this situation, squeezing out ketchup packets, wearing stained green 1980s sweatpants from a thrift shop, or refusing to go out on the town with friends can seriously cramp your chances of success. Or perhaps you're a young professional worker in the financial industry. If your boss and coworkers wear crisply ironed blue shirts and suit jackets around the 54th floor office, while you insist on Metallica t-shirts and Walmart jeans, your cheapness is not helping you get ahead. Even in married life, canvassing the tables of the other restaurant diners to ask if you can take home their leftovers while your wife covers her eyes in shame may be an exercise in penny-wise and pound-foolish behavior. But yet the student who walks to campus instead of driving, or the finance professional who forgoes an expensive wine-collecting hobby, or the married mustachian who lifts weights in his basement instead of joining the $200 a month health club downtown can get away with his frugality just fine. What makes the difference between frugal and cheap? Mr. Money Mustache has some guidelines to help you walk the fine line. It's almost all in your mind. Many of the worst spending addicts are buying things because of purely imaginary fantasies about the social status they will get. A specific brand of $400 purse or a Mercedes GL 550. At this level, they are well beyond the lower threshold of what is required to fit in socially, and may even be popping out the other end of normalcy where people will wonder why they buy such expensive stuff. I know several CEOs of multi-million-dollar companies who are perfectly content to be seen in a Honda CR-V, and plenty of fashionable Los Angeles-y people who do not follow fashion brands at all. The key is that these people still understand social norms, but they are confident about not needing to stand out at the high end of them, and that confidence earns far more respect than expensive products can ever attract. Frugal does not mean owning mostly. A cheap person may live for decades with the sorriest old fridge he could find on Craigslist. A frugal person might have a relatively new, even nice-looking fridge, and yet spend less money owning and operating it. Similarly, the frugal person might own a more expensive bike or pair of shoes. The key to this counterintuitive trick is to factor in things like energy consumption, longevity, time saved by owning a more effective product, and even life satisfaction derived from having a few very good things that you use every day. Frugal people still get to own and enjoy top-quality assets, tools, and investments. To be continued. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled Frugal versus Cheap by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. And I'll wrap up this post tomorrow, which will also, in fact, be the last episode of 2016. And if you want to help support our 4 podcasts in our optimal family as we move ahead to 2017, we'd love to keep making these for you and continue getting permission from the best authors we can find. But we could definitely use some support from you, the listener. There are a bunch of different things that you can do to contribute. You can contribute financially or otherwise. Just come by oldpodcast.com/support or just visit oldpodcast.com and look for the How to Help page. Anything listed there is a huge help. So we'll wrap this post up tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the last episode of the year where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.